Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Social Media Challenge. I'm your host, Anka, and this is day 4. I'm super excited to talk to you guys all about today's topic. But before I do, I'm clearly not doing okay. How's everyone doing? How are you enjoying the process so far? Let me know in the chat how you're doing. If you've done any additional work on top of the exercises that we've done recently, I have gotten some emails from some of which made me super excited about it. So I'm very curious to learn more. In the meantime, also, my colleague Andrea is back with us in the chat. So she'll be here to guide you through anything. Once again, this is a recorded session. So as usual, you will be getting the recording for each session, probably the next day. I can see people already commenting in the chat. This has been very informative and changing the way I use Social Bee. I'm super happy to hear that. Really helpful. I've been working on linking of the old articles on sleep into 2 new ones. That's amazing. Very valuable. I want step-by-step how to do some of these great things. Susie, I'll reach out after our webinar to get you a step-by-step on that. It was helpful to see these recordings also on YouTube. Yes, awesome. I'm happy to hear that. Very exciting. So much I didn't know, and so much we still have to learn. So let's get into it, shall we? I'll start my screen. We should be good to go. Let me see. I think we're good to go now. Let's quickly check that. You can see my screen, right? I'll open up the chat to make sure that it's visible. Yes. Okay. So as usual, don't forget our Q&A box to allow you to ask any questions that you have for this session, which is about engagement. So up until now, we've talked about auditing, goal setting, we've talked about planning, we've talked about content creation, and now it's time to dive into engagement and how you can increase that. Before we do that, I do want to remind you that 6 of you who commit to attending all 5 sessions of the Social Media Challenge have a chance to win a lot of prizes like Social Bee free plans, services that we offer, or a lifetime plan on ACE Meetings, which is our calendar booking solution. So let's get things started with day 4 and a question. And the question that I have for you guys is, how can you increase engagement on your profiles? And I'm curious to see if you have any ideas on this. How can you increase engagement for your profiles? I'm going to tell you how. You can increase engagement by looking at the metrics that engagement has. And for that, I have a few here on the screen. You can see engagement as shares. You can see it as retweets, comments, mentioned. And I've mentioned here tagged or untagged, and I'll get into a little more detail about it later on. Also counts and engagement, any follower count or page likes that you have, any audience growth. Also clicks, as well as likes or reactions. And it's basically everything that your audience does to interact with you. And the sum of all of these interactions, when you divide it by the total number of your followers, and then you multiply it by 100%, gives you one thing that I'm sure you've heard of, the engagement rate. This is one of the few metrics that is super relevant for monitoring and improving engagement. The engagement rate. So what's it good for? Well, it's there to help you because it will show you how your engagement evolves over time. So you'll see that high and positive engagement is a very good signal that your profiles are healthy, that you are thriving online. So no wonder everyone wants more of it, right? Okay, so going back to the question, how can you increase engagement? And I've seen some question for some answers here. I'm being told video, video, video. I find it very difficult at my client's profile, but not on my own. So that might have something to do with the industry and so on. So I'm really curious to see if all of the strategies that I will be providing today will help. Let me know once you start trying them and seeing if they actually do something. So let's start with strategy number 1, responding to comments and messages as soon as possible. I've also mentioned this, I think, yesterday in yesterday's session, that quick responses will keep your page looking alive. Quick responses will signal to your audience that their comments matter, that you're acknowledging their messages, that you're taking them seriously, basically, that they're important to you. It also helps with building your connection to your audience, making sure that your brand is more relatable, that it's more approachable, and it also can help with addressing issues promptly, which in turn helps with resolving problems before they escalate. So social media engagement can be a very useful tool in customer success as well. This would be the first strategy. Once you've done this, and I do recommend doing the community engagement where you respond to any comments and messages on a daily basis, take around 10 minutes or so to go through your comments, to go through your messages, and make sure that you don't leave any unreplied. It's super helpful to have it all there. Once you've done this, we can move on to the second strategy, which is to monitor mentions and respond to them quickly. And this is where we're going to go into more detail about whether they are tagged or untagged. So tagged mentions are where your audience will actually and actively at you on social media. So, hey, at socialbee.com, when's the next webinar? That could be a mention with a tag. But on the other hand, if someone writes an article on the best social media scheduling tools and they just happen to mention SocialBee as one of those tools and not tag us, we would still love to be able to interact with those. So if you go on your social profiles, and you look for your brand name, you might be able to find other mentions that are not tagged with your particular profile, but mention your brand. And it's very important to monitor and reply to and engage with those as well. Why? Well, because responding to these mentions ensures that you engage with a broader audience. Responding to these mentions will help users experience quick and positive interactions with your brand. So basically, they're more likely to return for future engagements. It's kind of like the low-hanging fruit of social media, where the audience is easy to impress because it's so easy to do. You can also engage with tagged and untagged mentions, as I said, which signals in turn that your brand is actively participating in conversations, and the algorithms kind of like that engagement. So they're going to be showing your brand more and more along the way. Basically, doing this will also help you reach a broader audience, which in turn will grow your engagement as well as potentially your page too. So we already have 2 different strategies in place. Let's add a third one here, running contests or giveaways, where in this scenario, it's important to take a few items and a few essentials, I guess, into consideration. So it's important to offer a prize that appeals to your audience, that fits your budget. And I guess the best example that I can give you here is the contest that we are running through the social media challenge. So you have a real chance here of winning specific services or products that we're offering, so that you can take advantage of that, as well as the knowledge that you're getting from these sessions. So in the essentials that I mentioned, you should be thinking about the prizes that you're offering, about the requirements of your entries in the giveaway. So what will your audience need to do in order to enter that giveaway? If needed, title, visuals for that giveaway, distribution channels, if you're planning on delivering it on multiple channels, the duration of that giveaway, things like this will be things that you need to think about. But then also the things that you see on the screen here. So testing different types of posts to see what works, what doesn't work, what resonates with your followers, promoting your contest regularly by making sure you remind your audience about the event, and engaging with your followers to in turn encourage even more interactions. I've also added here a warning sign that you shouldn't make it unnecessarily difficult for people to register to your giveaway, because no one is willing to put in that much effort for a small prize. It depends on it. I wrote here, even if the prize is big, but it also is compared to the prize size here. Okay, so when doing giveaways, here's one that you could do. This is an example. So Sephora did a giveaway where it was super easy for them to just tag the users, tag a friend, and that's it. And this is one of the sample of the examples of giveaways that you can do. So besides the regular like, comment, share to win type of giveaways, you can also create an entry requirement to tag a friend. This will in turn expand your reach while staying within your target audience, making sure that the people who enter are also interested in that prize, as well as your particular niche, so that they will stay after the giveaway is gone. Another example is the best photo caption. In this one, followers will be more inclined to participate when they are presented with a fun challenge. So in this case, it's an image of paparinos, of dogs, and they've asked their audience to generate funny captions for this photo. So this Instagram account actually managed to increase its engagement. They managed to interact with their current following, and they also managed to have a good laugh with the captions there. Another example is for holiday themed giveaways. And the example that I've added here is from 9gag for April Fool's Day. So you can think about if you have any holidays coming up later in the year. I know Valentine's Day is next month, so you could be creating something around that theme, or even April Fool's Day. So there's several themes, holiday themes, that you could be working with in this one. It's really a fun way to make it more interactive. Okay, so number 1, mentions, comments, reply to the messages, reply to the comments. Number 2, make sure you monitor and reply to any mentions that you have tagged or untagged. Number 3, use polls and giveaways in order to generate more engagement. Oh, number 3 was giveaways. Number 4 is to host polls, which is the one that you see on the screen right now. Okay, so polls. They are a quick and easy way for your audience to engage with your content, and they're actually more likely to interact with a poll than they would with a different type of post. and it can help you with gathering instant insights into the preferences, opinions, interests of your audience. And you can actually use these to gather information, to share information, or to just give your audience the opportunity to take decisions into their own hands and show you what they want. So a few ideas of polls that you can do. I have here on screen two examples. You can see the one on the top from Mailbird is actually a poll about what annoys you the most about emails, knowing that their solution will probably help with all of those, but they might know a lot more from what their audience wants, and focus more on delivering features around, in this case, receiving spam, which is one thing that I'm sure we can all agree on is super annoying on email. On the bottom, you see an image from M&M's poll where they actually let users vote a new flavor of M&M's. So that's super cool. Other poll ideas that you could do are satisfaction polls, find out what products, what services that you offer your consumers like the most, discover their opinion on pressing issues, on things of interest, or involve your audience into the decision-making process, just like M&M did here. And yes, I see Deb saying on the chat, yes, I also see polls a lot on LinkedIn, but I also see them a lot in Instagram stories. So that's also a good thing. Okay, strategy number 5, ask open-ended questions. In this case, these open-ended questions invite the followers to share their thoughts and opinions on specific things, like in this case, mental health. They encourage your audience to interact with your post, with your brand, but also with each other, because this will help provide your audience with a sense of community. And more of a tight-knit community that you have, the better it is for your engagement and overall processes. So the key here is that the questions should be on relatable topics. You can do this via text posts, you can do them in an image, you can do them in stories, you can do them whatever way works best for you, as long as it's an open-ended question. Remember how I started this session with a question that was open-ended to kind of help you answer the question before I started giving you my answers? That's kind of what I did there. And yes, mental health is great for building community. Yeah, it's an awesome thing to address. Good. Okay, so number 6, ask for questions. AMAs is what they call them on Instagram. It's the Ask Me Anything acronym. It's the little question box that you see in stories on Instagram a lot. So you can use something like AMAs to promote open communication, to ask your question, ask your audience for the questions that they want answered. So it's a great way for you to do a Q&A session of your own. These will help you make a better a stronger communication between your brand and the audience, and you can demonstrate your commitment and transparency. The key here, as I said in the slide, is to answer as a human and not as a brand or a business. So give as much information as you possibly can from your personal expertise and not just as a brand. If I were just coming here and telling you that, hey, I have this microphone and it's the best, you wouldn't really trust me that much. But if I'm giving you the knowledge, the genuine knowledge that I have to help you better your brand as well, you might still believe me that this microphone is the best, right? So you can host questions, Q&A sessions, AMAs, however you want to call them, on Instagram by using their feature in the stories, or you can just use Canva to generate a visual aesthetic of that sort that kind of reminds you of the AMAs on Instagram, and use them on whichever platform you have to make the most out of this particular strategy. This can, by the way, also help you come up with a lot of content ideas for your future content batching, just like we've talked yesterday. So this is also a good idea to brainstorm content to see what your audience would like to see from you next. And then we also have a 7th strategy, which is to create content using insights. You should be able to understand your audience's preferences. You should be able to understand their behaviors, their interests, and do all of this via research. So learn how your audience talks, learn what are their pain points, learn the content that they regularly consume, and then use that information to your advantage. And I've added a few ideas on how you can learn all of this and where you can learn this from in the slide here. So customer feedback, online conversations about your brand, industry, relevant topics, user-generated content is a great form to do this. Forums, discussions like Reddit or Facebook groups are also great for making sure that you are using these, it's for doing this research, basically, to use these insights to your advantage. Basically, creating content using insights that you gather this way will mean that you're referring to or even addressing specific situations that your target audience struggles with, right? It's also a great way for you to show your audience that you care about them, that you see their struggles, and that you're actively trying to help them solve those struggles. Okay, so this wasn't such a big deal. I do want to show some things before we dive into the exercise here. So the first thing that I wanted to show you, and I'm going to LinkedIn really quick, is to just type in the brand name. I'm going to use Social Bee here and go under posts and filter by, once it loads, sort by latest and show results. So this is the way I am going to actually look for any brand mentions where I'm not tagged or Social Bee is not tagged. So we're going to look for anything where that we could see in this scenario. And I think this one is actually a good one. Yeah. Okay. So this is a good example of a post where Social Bee is being mentioned. I can see it here, but there's no tag on Social Bee, which means that I would not have seen this on my actual profile were I to just expect for it to come to me. But if I'm looking at this and I'm able to actually interact with it, and let me actually switch to Social Bee here really quick. Oh, I already did that. Well, the idea is to interact with it so that you can showcase that your brand is actively there, out there, trying to monitor the whole existence of your brand online. And then coming back into Social Bee, you might have already noticed the Engage module, which is there specifically to help you engage with your audience. So in Social Bee, and I do have to reconnect some of these. So let's actually, you know what? Let's do this. Let's delete this stream and I'll actually show you how you can do that as well. So in Social Bee, you have the concept of boards and the concept of streams. A stream is each of these vertical columns that is one type of interaction for one profile. And the board is, you can think of it as the equivalent of a workspace. So you can separate any engagement interaction types as you want to. So if you have multiple brands, you can create boards per brand. If you'd like to have them separated by different platforms, you can create a board for X or Twitter. Let's say that. Okay, so I've created a board for Twitter. I also have boards because we usually prefer having them by interaction types. So all mentions in one place. My mouse is not working anymore. Comments in one place, DMs in one place, and anything else that you might need. So let's just go into the new board that I just created for Twitter, and I'm going to add a new stream by selecting Twitter or X here. The one that I had deleted that I don't have anymore in the other ones is the mentions stream. So I'm just going to add it here, and it's still syncing. So that's why the error is there. But basically, once it will sync up, you'll be able to see all the brand new mentions that you have in there, and you'll be able to click on the ones that you want, interact with it, add your comment, like it, and so on, so that you have an easier way to work with all of this in Social Bee. Okay, so I think now it's time for me to shut up and to ask you guys for the practical aspect of this challenge to plan or post. I mean, it's up to you if you want to post it today, a poll or an ask me anything. So I'm gonna shut up now for about 10 minutes and let me know in the chats what you come up with. Okay, so I'm gonna start reading out some of these because these are amazing. So running contests and giveaways with a prize that appeals. A poll could be for my nonprofit of asking what questions they have on programming and what questions we could answer. I think that's more of an AMA, so ask me anything type of post, not so much a poll, as the poll would probably have a closed-ended question, so one that would have A, B, C type of options. But it's also a good idea to share AMAs as well, so it's nothing wrong with that. I've already decided I'll post an AMA on psychosis because it's so misunderstood. It's my primary area of expertise, and I could create some great content. See, that's amazing. I love that. A poll. Which bad habit for sleep do you find hardest to overcome? A, revenge sleep procrastination, B, email or social media scrolling, and C, working late. I'm guilty of all three. Yeah, that's a great poll. I'm guilty of all three, but that's a great poll. I plan on doing a post on so many ask what my business actually does, and then do a poll of what they think I do. That's great. And then you can complement the results of that poll with what you actually do and seeing if they get it right or not. So I think that's a really cool way to incorporate a brand presentation there. How important is inclusion in your organization? That's also a great one, and you're going to give up some options, I assume, and then follow up with an AMA. Perfect. What's your biggest struggle with social media management? Is it content ideas, time to post, or low engagement, or other? For me, it would be time to post, but I have my nifty friend here, Social Bee, which is going to help me. But that's that's a great, that's a very cool poll to have. What on earth is revenge sleep procrastination? I really laughed at that one. A poll. I love, I work for a produce farm, so I could ask which is their favorite veg that we grow. That absolutely. What questions would you ask if you were posting motivational quotes? The thing that makes quotes images different is that I create them. I am inspired by life. I usually write what I need to hear, so I don't consider myself unique to my feelings. People seem to like them, but I have not been able to quote my Twitter account more than 2,300-ish so far. Well, I guess you could ask them what areas of their life they need motivation in, so that you can also kind of see more on what types of motivation you can focus your efforts in the future. 2024 is bringing some exciting stylistic trends and individual web design elements. Which trend appeals to you? Maximalism, retro future, femme, I'm not good at French, sorry, and 80s revitalism or heritage? That's a really cool one. Okay, another one. Let's see if we have any more. I think not. I think those are the ones that we have so far. So I think that's good enough, right? We've done a very good job of creating a poll, of creating AMAs, Ask Me Anythings, and I think it's time for us to move further into the Q&A session of today's session. The Q&A session of today's session. Yeah. I'm giving myself tongue twisters here. Okay, before we go into the Q&A, daily reminder that you can use one of these discounts or start a free trial if you haven't already on SocialBee, to see how SocialBee can help you do all of your social media strategy easier and from one place. And just as a quick thing, if you have any questions that you'd like addressed in private, or if you have any questions after this session is done, you can email myself, anka@socialbee.com, or the team, hello@socialbee.com, at any point in the future. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen right now, and we're going to bring the questions closer here so that I can see them and answer them. Let's see. First question that we have here: was there a place to commit to all 5 meetings? I do plan to be here for all 5. So far, I've been here to 4. Well, thank you for being with us every single day of the week, first of all. And second, no, this was it. You have to be here with us in the webinar in order to commit to be, what's that word? Eligible for the prize. And the next question: surveys responded. Do they count as engagement? Yes, any type of interaction that your audience has with your brand counts as interaction, and it counts as engagement. Deb asks, quick responses are difficult when you're busy with clients. How much of this should you try to automate? This is a bit tricky because automation makes it feel less authentic in the case of engagement. So my suggestion would be to have canned replies that you can use for certain situations, especially for frequently asked questions in messages and things like that. But I wouldn't use automated messages as much because they can fail, they can send the wrong type of message to the wrong person, and so on. So I would take a little bit of time each day to make sure that I monitor and I manage them as much as possible. If you do have too many interactions to handle and you don't have the time to do this, you can use services that are meant for this specific purpose. SocialBee actually has a community management service, so this is something that you could potentially use to have us respond to the comments on your behalf. Or just the easiest way to do it is to go find yourself a inbox management type of solution, like the Engage dashboard in SocialBee, which is where you can see everything at a glance and respond at least to the ones that are super relevant and super important. How do you monitor untagged mentions on social? I showed you at the end for LinkedIn. I basically just looked up the name Social Bee on LinkedIn, and then actually filtered for the most recently published posts to see if there's anything relevant. Now, with this method, there might be some irrelevant posts that you can just skip. So that's really not not important, but it's important for you to keep an eye out for it and make sure that you see any mentions that might exist in this way. The next question is, what if you don't have too much engagement yet? That's a very good question. What if you don't have engagement? Well, you try your best to generate it. You generate it by using one of the 7 strategies that I've mentioned in today's session. You try to generate it with your content. You ask questions. You have as much possible posts that are geared towards generating engagement to essentially grow your engagement. Okay, another question. Did I miss learning how to capture untagged mentions? I think this was also asked before I showed that, so I'll just skip it. If you're a solopreneur and just getting started, how can you afford to run contests and giveaways? Although I love the idea. Well, the contests and giveaways can be for something that it's easy and achievable for you to offer. So maybe it could be a product that you're already producing that you're selling, or it's a service instead, and you're just giving them a 1 month of that service that you're providing them with as a giveaway. This will not create any production costs for you, but it might in turn leave you with someone who will become a longtime subscriber of yours. So that's one way. Or a different way is to pair with a different business that's complementary to you and cross-pollinate. A bee pun. I couldn't help it, sorry. Cross-pollinate your audiences to kind of share engagement from both. These are just 2 options for giveaways and contests there. How do you construct a poll that people actually interact with? What's the formula? The formula is to ask a question that's relevant to your audience, first of all. If your question is not catching the eye of your audience, then what's the point of it, right? And then for the answers, think of the most widely provided answers for this question so that you can guide them into the boxes that that you want them to go through in the poll. How do you do an AMA? Do you schedule it ahead of time and do it live? So on Instagram, the way you do an AMA, and I'm sorry, I don't have my cable with me so that I can connect my phone and show you exactly how you do that. But basically you have a story sticker that is an AMA on Instagram. So when you're creating stories on Instagram, you can add the sticker there, and it's going to stay up for 24 hours. It's going to have your audience automatically type in their questions there, and then you can pick them up and share them to other stories or even posts and work with them that way. Alternatively, you can just create a visual in Canva with the idea of Ask Me Anything, the AMA, and this will help you post it wherever you need it. So you can post it to your feed, and then the questions from your audience would just be in the comments. You can ask it on TikTok, in a video, verbally, and in written. I have the hiccups. And in written form, you can ask it in a YouTube video or any other way, wherever you need it or where you're posting. Can you record an AMA and use it as YouTube content? Yeah, why not? Of course you can. Does Social Bee have engagement concierge services? Yes, we do. I did mention this earlier. We do have community management services. These are mostly dedicated to Instagram, but not only. And just as usual, they have 3 tiers, light, standard, and plus, so that you can choose the one that works best for your budget and your needs and the level of interaction and engagement that you need. So if you need more information on the concierge services that we offer, Andrea, if you have it handy, could you please add a link to Concierge Bee's services? This is where you can actually check out all the services that we offer, and you can pick and choose whatever you need to in order to have us help you with your social media strategy. Would a tag count as either an @ or a hashtag? This is the next question. A tag, in my opinion, would count when you're tagged on a photo or when there's an @ A hashtag, not so much. But that being said, this is a good point, and it is something that we forgot to include. But basically, yes, if you have a branded hashtag, you should monitor that one as well to make sure that you can include and reply to any engagements under that hashtag. And branded hashtags are a great way to create user-generated content, which you can in turn use into your own content later on. So it's a cool thing to have as well. Next question. I don't understand how to use the engagement tool once you create the boards or the streams. Can you show us, please? Yes. Okay, so I have the board for mentions here, right? I have this one on Instagram. When you have it the first time, mine is old because I haven't resynced this, but basically when you have it the first time visible, it will just show up here like this. And when you click on it, it opens up so that you can like it or you can comment on it. And to comment on it, you'll just say thanks, let's say. And with this, you can just hit enter and it will post it to that particular post. Now I've just replied with thanks to a 9-month-old post. That's something that you shouldn't do. Oh, oopsies. Okay, so see, I'm tired. I was thinking you are seeing my screen this entire time. I'm sorry. Let me do that again. I apologize, everyone. Can you see my screen now? Yes. Whew, sorry about that. Let me do that again. I will not comment again, but yeah. So basically this post from 9 months ago for Instagram, the mentions, if you click on it, it will allow you to interact with it here. And this is the comment that I just did right now. So I'm just typing in, yeah, revenge sleep deprivation, definitely. Just typing in the comment, and when you hit enter, it actually sends it. So this is what I just did now, and I will not send another one because it's gonna be too much. Let's see for comments if we have anything else that we can interact with here. Okay, so okay, so you can see here a post, and it's going to see also the replies on that post as well. I think that's it. That's all I can show you because that's really all that it is. It's to see all the comments, is to encourage you to reply to them directly here. I couldn't add a stream for LinkedIn. It didn't show in the drop-down choices. Okay. Well, were you trying to add mentions, comments, or what else? I'm curious now, because I do have it added here. No, the other one. I do have it here, so it is possible. Any of those. Okay, let's see. Let me delete the stream here for comments and add it again. Let's see what's coming up here. So when you click on the social profiles, LinkedIn comes up here, and then you'll see only the available types of interactions for that profile. So for LinkedIn right now, you have mentions and comments. So when you click on comments, I believe we're on comments, it should add it here and syncing them so that it comes up with the brand new comments that you didn't have. If you're running into any issues, I know LinkedIn had some API issues a few days ago. So if you tried doing this a few days ago, try it again and let me know if it still doesn't work. And we can look into it separately. But basically, that's about how to do it. Okay, so if you just tried it today, then let's talk about it in an email so that I can investigate it further. Because as you can see, it works for me. So it's probably something in the way it's set up on your end in SocialBee. So we can look into it in a call, jump on a call, see what's going on, and we can figure it out. For now, let's just get back to the actual questions here. Okay, this is exactly your question, Susie, the next one. I just tried to add a stream to a board and LinkedIn does not show as an option. How do I get it to show so that I can select it? Again, so all you need to do is have LinkedIn connected to SocialBee, and then you should be able to connect it. If not, we can look into it and we can figure it out. Anka, I'm so embarrassed I made typos in my share in the chat. What I was asking was, what kind of questions can I ask if you are sharing motivation quotes and messages? I'm not sure if I think I already answered this. Please let me know if you still feel like I need to look into it, and I will. Okay, next question. I missed how to find untagged mentions on Twitter or X. Can you please show me how to do that? So yeah, sure, absolutely. On Twitter, let's see what account I'm logged into. I think I'm in a sample account here. But basically, what you can do is type in SocialBee or your brand name in this case, share screen. Oh, good God. I'm sorry, guys. It's been a long week, okay? It's been a long week. That's my excuse. Okay. Can you see my screen now? You should be able to. And I'm not gonna stop sharing it anymore. I promise. So can you see my screen? Yes. Okay, cool. So I typed in SocialBee in the search bar on X, and I'm just gonna click or hit enter here. And it's gonna come up with posts where SocialBee is being mentioned. So you can see this is a good example here of a post where SocialBee is actually mentioned, but not with an at. So I could see this and then I can actually interact with it. I'm not going to do that because I'm not in the official SocialBee Twitter, but you get the point. So you have it here as a tool for content recycling. We can actually interact with this further and see exactly how you can do that and so on. Next question. Is there something specific that you need to do for a branded hashtag, or you just create it and check it to see when someone else is using it? You just create the hashtag and see when someone actually uses it. So hashtag SocialBee would be the hashtag to use if you're talking about SocialBee, so that we can actually see what you're talking when you're talking about us and sharing information about us, and that way we can interact with you guys there as well. Also, another thing that you could do is actually actively mention to your audience that that you're using this and that they could be using it as well, just so that they know. But do keep in mind that branded hashtags actually have a few, they take time to get generated. Okay, last question here is, I have more than one Twitter account. Can I create an engagement board stream for more than one Twitter? Yes, you can. So in the engage menu, if you have multiple of the same types of profile, you can add more than one stream for one of each of your profiles. So now if I had a secondary Twitter here, I would be able to select that one as well and bringing it into my board as well. Okay, so that's all of the questions. Now I can stop sharing my screen so that I can look at the chat properly and see if there's anything else that I missed. I can see a lot of AI summaries, so that's also a little bit distracting, but let's see if we have here any other questions. Based on the transcript, that's fine. Show us in Social Bee how to find untagged mentions. At the moment, unfortunately, I can't do that because you can't find untagged mentions in Social Bee at this time, but we are working on including other features in the Engage dashboard as well, so this might be along the way somewhere. Okay, I think that's it. Last minute item. Okay, that's an AI summary. Okay, thank you for the help and patience. You're doing great. Thank you so much. Thanks for your patience while I am struggling here. It's, in my defense, it's 8 p.m. I'm in Romania, so it's 8 p.m. And it's the 6th webinar that I've done this week. So it's been a week. So I guess that's it for today's session. We actually managed to get it all done in time for once. That's amazing. So thank you all for joining today's session. If any other questions pop up in your head, feel free to email me, anka@socialbee.com or hello@socialbee.com. And we'll be happy to answer. And then I'll see you guys tomorrow for the final day of the social media challenge, which is going to be on one of my, I guess my second favorite topic, analytics. And that's how we will end the challenge. So I will see you all tomorrow, and thank you all for joining. Have a nice rest of your day, depending on where you are in the world, and enjoy.